So, g'day everyone. It's an opportunity for me to share with you guys. And during May Mission Month, we have had the privilege of hearing from some of our friends and family from Gateway Baptist. And during this month of May, I'd like to share a bit about what our local missions are, and including youth ministry. And growing up as a child, I had the privilege and blessing of being able to be taught about who God is in a Christian family. And to me, that was such a blessing in my life. It was a foundation for my life. But ultimately, I was learning everything that my parents were sharing. And for me, I learned about who God was and who He was to me. But ultimately, I was living a little bit of my parents' faith. And it wasn't until I started growing up through the youth groups and growing up with children's ministry, it wasn't until those later stages in life that I had to come to a point, a crossroad, that God had to bring me to that would enable me to become the man I am today. And with saying that is, I had to make a decision for myself. In saying that, I would enable God to live through me in the decisions I make in the day-to-day life. So I had the blessing of going to youth group growing up, and that's part of my passion. In the past, I've been able to give back to other youths in running a youth ministry, and I've spent a number of years within Gateway Baptist as a youth leader, and it's something that this church can build up with and move forward into the future. Again with another team. And so we've still got youth within our church who are still searching their own faith and ideas. And part of the opportunity with the local mission we have is to be able to share who God is in their lives and build those relationships up. We're able to form foundations in relationships and sharing our faith with them and getting alongside them. And so the local mission in youth ministry is quite vital. Yes, they hear about Christ in their families. Some youth aren't from a Christian background. And so we have an opportunity there to share Christ through our own faith, through events, and coming together. And forming those relationships is quite vital for the young ones. And it also helps form foundation blocks for who they really are, and hopefully we can build a good character within them so they can make good life choices in the future. So some prayer points for our church would be to be able to bring a youth ministry back into the church, to form a strong leadership within the youth ministry that can cater for boys and girls of multiple ages through the high school age bracket. And hopefully that can form beautiful people into the young adult brackets, and eventually they form the church body. And so with the local missions and youth ministry, our local youth ministry I see as a vital component of the church. In 2011, we were teaching the youth about baptism, and with the leadership of Ian and Lee Campbell and the youth leaders at the time, we had a number of youth who had not been baptised, had come from a range of different cultures and wanted to learn about baptism. And so the pastor at the time, Steve Nicholson, he prepared a service on one Sunday in February, and he shared from the baptismal pool a message. And in the lead up to that Sunday, we had taught the youth about what it means to be baptised and the steps of faith that it takes. And a lot of youth had come to us and said, yes, we're ready to be baptised. And we had prepared a lot in that, and so we hoped and knew that they were making the correct decision. Come this Sunday that Pastor Steve is speaking, and he's shared his message and puts a call out saying, which one of you is ready to be baptised today? We have it open. And no one was really stepping forward. And I knew that some of the youth that we'd talked to and coached through had made life commitments and were kind of ready. They even brought their gear for baptism, but they were not stepping forward. And so I felt a tug in my heart that day to come forward and speak in front of the congregation. And I told them about taking a step of faith, about, being bold. It's like a declaration of your faith. And ultimately, we're called as Christians to be baptised and rise in the waters with Christ. And so, through a message that I was sharing from my heart then, we had one young guy who wasn't even part of the youth group, who was more my age, Nick Edwards, feel a call in his heart. He hadn't come prepared that day to be baptised, but he felt God saying today's the day to be baptised. And he stepped forward and went through the waters of baptism. And from there, we had a following of another 20 people step up. And that day, still to this day, that sticks in my mind that, God really showed up that day. God really said, I am here. I'm living for you guys. You are the local mission and you are my people. And we had both youth go through the waters, parents of the youth go through their waters that day. And I will never forget it. And I just want to encourage you all that the local church here is just as vital as going out to other cultures and other missions. And God said, go out into the world and share about who He is. And sometimes our neighbours right beside us are here, they're ready to hear the gospel, but we may not just be looking at them yet. So be encouraged, and thank you for the time I'm able to share. And I do hope to catch up with you in the not so distant future and have church in the flesh again. Thank you.